What's up, everybody? You're watching and you're listening to the
In the Groove podcast.
Now, today we have a really fun show. And when I say fun, it's because I know this man. This man is my brother from another mother. And we've done a lot of work together, and he's doing his own work now. And I'm incredibly proud of him. As we say on the show, we go through it to grow through it and glow through it. And you're going to hear about some of the things that he had to grow through. You saw us in the movie Chocolate City together, but he's done so much more. Please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Michael Bowlaire.
Ooh, welcome to In the Groove.
What's going on, y'all?
Oh, man, it's so good to see you.
Man, for sure. Definitely, man.
So good to see you. And
absolutely.
Clearly you're not working out at all.
Yeah, I kind of left it alone.
You look great, man. You're still
thanks.
stacked,
Appreciate
clearly
it.
stay in the gym. You and I talked a long time ago, before we started the film, and you were talking about health and fitness and how important it is to you. And not just because you're on screen or you were doing things in person, but because that's what you believe in.
Yeah. First, I kind of grew into it. I mean, I kind of grew up in it. My mom was all natural kind of bodybuilder, and my dad was in and out of the pen, but he always stayed kind of rocked up. So
it's just in your blood.
It's just in it. Like, all of my brothers and sisters are in shape. We always took the more of a healthier approach, more of the holistic healing, more nutritional aspect of things. So, that's where we at with it.
Now speaking about that, you guys might see me bite into some chicken. Now, I'm a vegetarian, and not today, and not when we were on with Tamika Scott, but I'm kind of, I'm kind of eating meat right now.
You're kind of human.
I'm kind of human.
Right?
And I'm eating meat right now, so I'm biting
Sure.
into some chicken during this episode. But on the top of that, look, I know that you also love football.
Yeah.
And you had a football career going on.
Yeah. At one point in time, I was playing a little college football. And then acting came, to be honest with you. So it was a decision to live out my childhood dreams of being a football player or reality, and just looking at the advantages and the disadvantages that football had for me. Leaving Cleveland, I left Cleveland, Ohio.
Which is where you grew up.
Yeah.
Right?
Born and bred in Cleveland, Ohio. Moved here at 22 years old. So I was kind of behind the curve when it came to the age aspect initially. And then I just thought about it like, football, probably not. I pushed my little brother to do it a little bit more. He was much better than me at football.
You say little, but
yeah.
I'm sorry. You say little, but your brother ain't that little.
No, he ain't
either.
no little dude at all. But he was my younger brother. So
did you come to Atlanta for football or acting?
I came to Atlanta for better. I packed up that 97 F-150, put it on the road. I had $180 in cash. I just wanted to be something more. I was doing the dancing stuff at that time too. So I just looked at it like, man, I just want more. And I didn't feel as if Cleveland could provide that for me.
Yeah.
B, what's crazy? You just mentioned my secret favorite truck, the F-150.
Yeah.
I've driven that truck across country so many times.
I don't blame you, man. I
that
just got
truck
rid of
is the smoothest. It actually rides like a Bentley.
It do.
It's really strange.
It's a smooth ride.
It's a very
it really
smooth
is.
ride.
Yeah,
that's so
for
funny
sure.
that you mentioned that.
For
So
sure.
you said that you came to Atlanta because you wanted better, you wanted more, and you felt that the city could provide that to you. And it seems like you were really busy. You are an entrepreneur. Are you still doing the Bowlaire line and your bath and body
Yeah.
products?
Well, I kind of stepped away from that to focus on more of just building the brand of Michael Bowlaire. I kind of put the BOLO thing behind me and never forgetting it because it was the vehicle that got me to the platform that I have now. If it wasn't for BOLO the entertainer, and it's crazy, I was having a conversation with my wife the other day, and she said, Michael was in BOLO's shadow for all those years. And it was just, it hit me. It was like, dang, like who Michael is opposed to BOLO is two different individuals.
Two different people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I want to dive deep in now because, our viewers and our listeners love to get the real. We say that this is a podcast with a twist. And the twist is we're going to expose some things that kind of create a connectivity with a a reality that most people try to disconnect from, and that's pain.
Yeah.
That's learning curves, right?
Yeah.
So when we work together, one of the beautiful things is we had a lot of really deep, intense conversations.
For sure. Yeah.
And we would talk about life. We would talk about growth.
Family.
We would talk about family. We would talk about the business behind the show. Tell me a little bit about what you took from that and what you did with it, right? Because you've got to take action, and you've done incredibly well since then.
Thank
and
you,
we
man.
see the trajectory and where you're going with this. But I want to talk about those beginnings of those conversations that we had that most people don't even know or would even think that you would be discussing. But you cannot not have those conversations and expect to be successful. So tell us a little bit about, if you remember some of the conversations that we had.
I remember quite a few of them. And to this day, they are like staples in like how I stay focused. I remember having a conversation with you one time, and you said something about, look, bro, this is a show business. This is show business.
That's good.
And one side of it, it was like, what does that mean? But the other side of it was like, find out, ask the questions, and understand that this is a business first. And I took that so serious, because it's like, well, that means I have to get my business right then. I can't just be the little hustler my entire life. No. Understand what it's like to have LLCs, understand what it's like to have product, understand what it's like to provide services, and understand the literature of it, or, you know what I mean? Like, understand the lingo, the language behind it. Another thing I remember when I first had my son, I told you my child's mother was pregnant. And you said, hey, bro, just always do something. Always send something. And, man, you don't realize how much that has made my life a relief. Like, I hear so many horror stories about child's mothers and things that I never had an issue, but it was always because I did my part. So I want to commend you for that.
Because women just want to know that you doing something. You can't not do anything. A lot of times men, you know, because they're upset at the woman or they're mad at the woman, they're trying to get back at the woman, they don't take care of the child. No.
That ain't got
That child has nothing to do with your
for
relationship with her. Your responsibility is to your child.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that was something that I knew through wisdom that I had to give you.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk into a room, you pull focus, right? You demand attention. So it's easy for you. So a lot of times when people have that energy, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to do things. So it doesn't afford them the opportunity to be thinkers so much,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they get automatic attention.
Yeah.
But to become a thinker, meaning to diffuse something before it becomes a problem, is that genius energy. And I wanted to make sure that you were able to munch on that a little bit.
Man, it helped me out a lot, man. I remember another situation where we had a conversation, and you was telling me about how you had went to one of the, I think it was Farrakhan's home or something like that. And you said how you greeted it, or how you was greeted at the door. And you said, hey, how you doing, to his wife? And
this was in the mosque in Chicago.
Yeah.
I was just being nice.
It changed my perspective. It was like, man, he's right.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I moved just like that.
So
I noticed that when you walked in, actually, with greeting me, because it's, you know, it's something that, you know, I tend to divert to also.
Yes. It's a natural level of respect. And with all due respect, my relationship is with him. It's like, this is my big bro. Hey, yeah, absolutely. How you doing? But I understand that, and I took that and adapted. I mean, I adopted that, and even in like my relationship. And I don't want my woman feeling as if it's a control thing, or just letting her know the understanding of, hey.
No, really, the essential thing is it's about the ultimate respect. It's not any form of disrespect. It's absolute respect, and I find that to be really admirable, honorable.
Thank you. No, and I wouldn't have known it. I wouldn't have known it.
Look, each one teach one, we can reach
one.
That's
man.
something that I learned from the minister Farrakhan. I was in the masjid. They acknowledged me, you know, because of my acting and stuff, and then I went in the back to meet him, and I was, you know, saying hi to everybody, and he said, brother, focus here.
Absolutely.
And I understood what that meant. Like, it's even in the masjid, the women sit with the women, the men sit with the men to keep focus.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We hear about stuff in church all the time, women wearing certain things. Yeah, that's why half the time people can't focus because everybody's in a parade. Everybody's
it's a fashion show.
Fashion
It's
shows,
trying to one
short
up each
dress,
other.
tight clothes.
Everybody
No,
want to be seen.
Yeah.
when
You
you're
know?
dealing with spirituality, you gotta focus.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because you're receiving in order to use, in order to give back.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so I appreciate that, but you know, I can't take the credit for it because the minister taught it to me. So
Yeah.
anywhere I go, I try to take you know, lessons.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
lessons become blessings, right?
for sure.
Once you take the lesson. So let's move into where you are right now. You know, again, you got a hit show on BET. You've done films. You've actually made appearances on other shows. And of course, again, we should never deny. It's kind of like when people talk to me about choreography. I'm still happy to talk about dance and
For sure.
choreography.
Yeah.
But clearly I've moved on.
For sure.
Because I'm comfortable with the legacy that I left behind. Very, very much like you. You came in the game with a persona called Bolo the Entertainer.
For sure.
And you bodied the game. When
Yeah.
Bolo walked in the room, it was over. You know, I mean, I remember when we were watching the film, when you came on, like people just screamed in the movie theater. But again, it's your presence. Your presence carries. Now, the amazing thing is the alpha aspect of you is always alpha, even if it's other alphas in the room.
For sure.
You never have tried to be the main alpha. And so I knew you were always smart. Even when we were doing the movies, you were talking about, again, the trajectory of what you wanted to do, the ownership quality that you were working with, what you were going to create, the brands that you were going to create. And it's so amazing to see now how you're utilizing your time on television, because that gives you a presence and it gives you a voice.
That's exactly what it is, man.
Right? And you're not just doing that to get a check, right? We know the checks are nice, they're fat, but you're using that for something else. I mean, again, if you didn't hear him, he said, my wife. So you took that leap of faith. You said, it's time to become Michael Bowlaire. Michael Bowlaire has to stand out in front. It's kind of like how, you know, Curtis Jackson said, you know, 50's over here. I had to detach from 50.
For sure. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what that's like for you mentally, because sometimes people won't let you
I'm gonna be honest with you, big bro.
shake it.
I still struggle with it sometimes. I still struggle with it because that was 17 years of my life.
Yeah.
That was all of my adulthood. So one of the biggest things is the things that go along in my head. So I have to keep on going. But I have come to an understanding within myself that I'm worth it. I do deserve it. And I'm more than just a dancer. I'm more than just a stripper. I'm more than just the sex symbol. I'm more than just the eye candy. And it's what I've been trying to tell people for the longest, but people want to hear what they want to hear when they want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I noticed that like when I was trying to just kind of learn a little bit more about you, a lot of the past, the Bolo stuff would come up. But one thing that struck me was that even dealing with, you know, and forgive me for mentioning this, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that situation, the way that you approached it was nip it in the bud, and you were very professional with your statement and just like letting people know, like, I'm a professional. This is just what I do.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
doesn't define you as a person. And I thought that was very strategic on your part, because you really let people know at that point that you're addressing it head on.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's just part of what you do.
Yeah.
When did the transformation happen, would you say, from Bolo? Because you did Chocolate City, you did Vivica's Black Magic. When did you kind of feel that transition was happening for you from Bolo to Michael Bowlaire?
I still deal with it. I deal with
the image, or
I deal with the
moving past?
I deal with this individual has provided you with all of the things that you have. This individual has maybe My wife found me from that TV show. She
What TV show?
from Vivica's Black Magic. She met Bolo.
That's beautiful. Your wife found you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I wasn't. That was always my biggest thing. Like that was my thing. I'm single as a dollar bill, and I ain't looking for change until change came. And like I said, sometimes I do feel like I still don't have it all the way figured out because I'm still human. But I just play it day by day. I stay prayed up, and I put God first, but I put me up there too.
You have to.
I have to, man.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
You think smart, you say smart things, and that intelligence turns to wisdom.
Appreciate that.
You know,
And your presentation, the presentation of how you speak and how you show up on social media, that's important.
Yeah.
As well.
Yes, that's huge.
you're controlling your brand now.
For sure.
There's a difference. Like you said before, everything was hustle, 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 right? That was sense, right? That was literally SENTS. That was sense. But now you want to make sense. SENSE.
Yes.
And that is really the dynamic part. So shape the world now of Michael Bowlaire. Shape the world. Show us where we are now and show us maybe in the next 5 years where you're going with this, what you're utilizing right now in order to create. Because most people don't know. You're going to recreate something, right? Or you're going to create. If you're living in the now, you can create.
Yeah.
But if you're living in the past, all you're going to do is recreate the past.
Absolutely.
So tell us what you're creating now.
Right now, I'm creating definitely a more PG-13 version of myself. I tell myself, hey, I can still show off my muscles without coming into place with my shirt off. So my approach now is definitely to keep my clothes on, make money with my clothes on, just having good conversations with men in the industry. I tell you this, I learned it's not just hard for me. It's hard for everybody. So, yeah, that part of it is the part that kind of keeps me like, all right, stay level-headed in it. But to tell people where I'm at now, I'm in savage mode. I want it all now. I want more than I ever had. I'm in a position to have more than I ever had. I have the resources that I wish I always had.
You leveled up.
And I have the mindset now. I didn't receive it before. I did not. I get compliments from people and just say, okay, thank you.
Those dollar bills turn to hundreds now.
Oh my God. I look at that money. I had an event not too long ago. And Meeting the Heat weekend was I tried to introduce it. And then that was the weekend that it was me on the floor performing. And I looked up and there was a woman there and she had a dollar bill. And she was just waving it in my face. And of course, I still had to play it nice and sweet. But I looked at it like, I ain't doing this shit no more. I can't do it no more. And not because of the value of the dollar.
The value of you.
It's the value of me.
It's so interesting because you hear it so constantly from a woman's point of view of being sexualized and treated a certain way. But, you don't really hear it from a man's point of view. And it's just as minimizing as it is to women.
Yeah, it's if I told stories about things that happen, I'll ruin a lot of people. But I'm a man first. If I told the truth majority of the time, I tell the truth, but if I told people's secret, a lot of people would be ruined. But I don't move like that. Right? The baddest part about it in this situation is that you're a man, you can't do that. There's some cruddy people out there, let's just say that.
No doubt.
Evil.
Sides, yeah.
There's some evil people out there. And the things that go on in my head and the life that I used to live, but the life that I want to live keeps me poised.
That's right.
Yeah, if you focus on it, it'll come. Right. The momentum is already there. It's already in place.
And those are the keys to success. We talk about this all the time here on the In the Groove podcast. Each one teach one, we can reach one. You go through it to grow through it, to ultimately glow through it. We're here talking to Michael Bowlaire, and one of the dynamic things that are going to keep showing up is the fact that you cannot stay the same. To whom much is given, much is required.
Yes, sir.
remember, you can't be the same and expect better. You have to be better in order for better to come to you.
For sure.
We talk about that, right? So imagine this. So everything you desire is right here. So you desire it. You're lazy. You feel bad. You're angry. It's not that it's not going to come to you. It's just going to stop where it is. When you feel good, you're growing, gain access to more knowledge, you take action, it does this.
Yep.
Feel bad again.
Yep.
Feel depressed again, angry again, confused again. It just stops.
Yep.
It doesn't move. When you feel good again, when you open up your mind, your heart, and access, it comes. And then you get to hold it in your hand.
Yeah, for sure.
But once you have it in your hand, depending on your level of consciousness, you might not be able to keep it.
Oh my God. And depending on your level of confidence.
Yes.
That's one of the things that people
self-esteem.
People don't believe in themselves. And if you don't believe in you, it's easy for the individual around you to influence you to do whatever they want you to do.
Yeah,
or
how
you don't
see
meet
yourself.
the expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you love you, I tell this to a lot of people. How did you do it? How did you do this? I love me first. I love me before my lady. I love me before my son. I love me before my mama. I love me. Because if I ain't doing it,
You can't give to others.
If
People
you ain't
can't give
doing
it
it,
to
everybody else suffers. Because if you're responsible for your family, right? And I'm speaking on behalf of whoever holds great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
If people are depending on you and you stop doing you and they haven't worked to build themselves, there is no them.
They're
We
only
call
a detriment. They're only
that's
a detriment.
That's it. If either you're an asset or you're a liability, right? So we say if you give up on Monday, there is no Tuesday.
Yeah.
Now what we say, and it's really interesting because this, again, I use the word trajectory, because if you are in a situation where you're comfortable, but you're not working to grow, you're just comfortable, that's going to change real quick. So we've got to grow when we're comfortable, right? Because comfortability is what? The cousin to failure.
The cousin to failure.
And so we see that, and we talk about that a lot here.
For sure.
Let's go the Tyler Perry route, because we can't mention inspiration. We can't mention wealth. We can't mention dream chaser. We can't mention provider. We can't mention explorer. We can't mention student and now teacher without mentioning Tyler Perry.
For sure.
What is it like? Because so many people want to hear, what is it like to work with Tyler Perry?
I'm going to be honest with you. You know how you hear stories and you hear stories and you hear stories, how much he's giving this person a car, or he let this person stay in their house and all this stuff. I didn't even have to get a monetary thing for me to realize how big that man's heart is.
The value.
I remember we were shooting All the Queen's Men, the second part of it. And it was the day we went into the bubble was the night that the thing on Housewives aired. So, of course, nobody else on set kind of knew probably what I was feeling, because I had to put my game face on. But nobody knows my life because I'm a private individual.
I think I remember this because I think we were talking when you were in that bubble.
Yeah, it was different. I think what ended up happening for me was that it was my first time meeting him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I went in there the next morning. He pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know, man, you're doing a good job, man. Stay at it. Stay focused. I know it's crazy going on." Every day for about 3 or 4 days, well, for that first week, he would pull me to the side right after they did the prayer. Mm-hmm. And he would say, "How you doing?" He asked me how I was doing. Just checking on me.
How did that make you feel to have that person come to you like that, to have him really ask about your mental health and how you were?
I'm going to say this much. Nobody checks on the strong people. Nobody. Man, it meant the world to me.
Yeah.
It meant the world to me because
a lot of time people don't think you need assistance because you always strong, because you are the alpha, because you out there. So he doesn't need anything. But when somebody can see through that,
it's probably because they've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I can't get home to find out how my lady really feeling.
Because you were under
staying
quarantine.
strong too. Yeah, she's staying strong too. It was just a lot of stuff just going on at that times, but for him to reach out, for him to take the time out of his day, he had to direct. I didn't take that lightly. I have nothing but positive things to say about that man. Even I don't go there to just, you know how most actors go in there to just stay focused. I go in there, I see the studio and
You learn it, taking notes.
This dude is brilliant.
Because he held the vision and trust the process. You know, I love how he tells things through metaphors or scriptures.
Comedy.
Yeah, comedy.
Teaches through comedy.
And he's such a great griot.
Yeah.
Right? Because he takes life situations or life's teachable moments and he gives it back to you.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do it for himself. He's doing it. Well, he did it for himself, but he did it with the intention of sharing the information.
He had the courage to share the story.
And he brought his people along with him. The people that started from the beginning, you know, still work with him.
Yeah. It's just, it's different. It's, I have nothing but positive things to say about that, brother.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I want to take it to a personal level right now, because I know you mentioned this briefly. How does your prior persona with Bolo affect your wife, your marriage, your relationship, even with your son now involved?
It never did. I have an amazing supportive lady. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's important to have.
Yeah. I have an amazing supportive lady. She's always had my back. Definitely since she's been in my life, but she's always had my back. So I don't really have those issues. Most of the time she was like, I'll pack your bag for you. You know what I mean? So it wasn't any of that nature. I wouldn't have had it no other way either.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that. A woman trying to hold me back from being who I ultimately want to be. That probably won't, because I prefer to be single.
That's not a supportive woman. You know, that's not
Absolutely.
someone who really knows that you have a job to do and you have, you know, your goals of what you want to reach. You know, it's important to have someone that actually knows that that's what you want to do and supports you in any way possible.
Yeah. My biggest issue.
What's her name?
I ain't gonna go there yet. I ain't talking too much when it comes to that. But when I drop it, it'll be out there.
Yeah, it's important to keep your private life private.
For sure.
Right? When there's so much exposure in this world, and that's how you stay happy.
Yeah.
And how do you find time to be a dad? Because you sound like you're working a lot.
I'm working a lot, but I still have time to be a father. That's one of my most important things. My son lives in another city and state, so it's kind of tough as far as like, you know, the whole moving around and being able to get him as much as I like him to. I mean, I like to. He's in kindergarten now, so that's a plus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
That's a fun age. Huh?
I want to grab
so
something.
Pure-hearted.
Because, you know, we're getting ready to wrap up. But something that you said about Tyler Perry made me think of a book called Think and Grow Rich.
Napoleon Hill.
Was put in a situation. He wasn't paid. He was put in a situation where he could just be around and interview millionaires.
Yeah.
And that was pay enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody has read that book, Think and Grow Rich, you will know how it will and has and can change your life.
For sure.
Do you feel like that was a very similar situation to what you experienced? Although you were getting paid and are getting paid to do the show, you have the ability to be around and speak with Tyler to absorb some of that knowledge, that wisdom, that information that will help the trajectory of your career, because you may be moving into producing, into directing, right? And just really not only building your career, but showing other people who are coming after you, you know, what they need to do.
I'll say this much. Anything that I do for a living, I do it for free.
Yes, sir. We get paid to wait because we love what we do.
Anything that I do for a living, my kennel, even with the dancing, the acting now, I do it for free. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Look, this is beautiful right now. I know how you feel. Please tell everybody where they can see you, where they can find you.
Catch me on Instagram at Michael Bowlaire. Facebook, I ain't kind of like been on it in a while, but it was Bolo the Entertainer. But as of right now, just Instagram at Michael Bowlaire, MichaelBowlaire.
So awesome, man. We're so happy to have you here on the show and the In the Groove podcast.
Definitely. Sure. And remember, everybody, check on your people. It doesn't matter if they seem strong. Just make sure you check on your people. Yeah. I'm Tari Henson.
And I'm Darren DeWitt Henson. And you have been grooved.